Christiana asked, "Couldn't you tell how loudly you knocked?" "I can tell you that your knocks were so earnest that they startled me. I thought that I had never heard such knocking in all my life. In fact, I thought perhaps you would enter the gate by force or take the kingdom by storm. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and violent men take it by force." Matthew chapter 11, verse 12. Regrettably, for someone in my situation, what else could I do? Mercy asked. "You saw that the door shut after you entered, and I stood on the other side, along with that cruel dog. No one could be more faint-hearted than me. But who in my situation would not have knocked with all their might? But please tell me, what did my Lord say about my rudeness? Was he angry with me?" A grin tugged at the corner of Christiana's mouth. "When he heard your unwieldy noise, he smiled, a most wonderful smile. I believe that you did please him, for he showed no sign to the contrary. But I wonder in my heart why he keeps such a dog. I have to say that if I had known that before we came to the gate, I'm not sure I would have had courage enough to have attempted any of this. But now we are in." She grabbed Mercy's shoulders. "We are in! And deep down, I've never been happier." Mercy's head bobbed in agreement. "Please, next time he comes down, be sure to ask him why he keeps such a filthy mongrel in his yard." She paused for a moment and said, "I hope he will not take it wrong." "Yes, do ask him," the children said in unison, "and persuade him to hang the mongrel, for we are afraid he will bite us in the future." So, finally he came down to them again. When Mercy saw him, she fell to the ground on her face before him and worshipped. She said, "Let my Lord accept the sacrifice of praise which I now offer to him with my lips." So he said to her, "Peace be to you. Stand up." But she continued to lay face down and said, "Righteous are you, O Lord, that I would plead my case with you. Indeed, I would discuss matters of justice with you." Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 1. She peeked up at him and asked, "Why do you keep such a dog in your yard? At the sight of it, women and children such as us are ready to flee from your gate in fear." He said, "The dog has another owner who lives in the castle which you see there in the distance. He just keeps him close to another man's property, and my pilgrims hear his barking, but can still come up to the walls of this place. While that is neither bad nor good, he has frightened many an honest pilgrim by the deep booming of his barking. The fact is that the owner of the dog doesn't keep him out of any goodwill to me or mine, but with the sole intent to keep pilgrims from coming to me. It is his hope that pilgrims may be too afraid to come and knock at this gate when they hear the ferocious bark of his dog. Sometimes the dog has even broken out and harassed some whom I loved, but for now I accept it patiently. I also give my pilgrims timely help, so that they are not transferred to his power to do with as his doggish nature would prompt him to do. But if you had been my purchased one before you met the dog, I trust you would not have been afraid. The beggars who go from door to door are willing to run the hazard of the bawling, barking, and biting of a dog rather than lose possible donations. So shall a dog in another man's yard, a dog whose barking I turn to the prophet of pilgrims, keep any from coming to me? I deliver them from the lions, and my precious ones from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth. From the horns of the wild oxen you answer me. I will tell of your name to my brethren. In the midst of the assembly, I will praise you. Psalm 22, verses 21 to 22. Mercy sat up and said, I confess my ignorance. I spoke about things which I did not understand. I acknowledge that you do all things well. Then Christiana began to talk of their journey and to ask for directions. So he fed them and washed their feet and set them in the way of his steps, in the same way he had done for her husband at the start of his pilgrimage.